Welcome to LOQation, a Loquitur web program. I'm Patrick Gallagher.
And I'm Melissa Menser, and here's your news now.
Be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
And these are your top stories in the Loquitur. 8 Cabrini students traveled to Ecuador over Christmas break as part of a program to experience the country's poverty. Unfortunately, one of the students, Sapphira Griffin, had emergency surgery because of an intestinal problem. While the trip continued, students said that they were united in their concern about Griffin. Another trip is also planned to travel to Guatemala in the spring. There is still time to sign up. Many students wonder what they'll do after college. One option for Cabrini College students is the Cabrini Mission Corps, which supports volunteer mission work overseas or at one of the Cabrini sites in New York or New Orleans. If you have a drive to help other people, check out this week's Loquitur for more information about the Cabrini Mission Corps. If you're more interested in getting a job after graduation, Bryn Mawr College will host its annual nonprofit career fair at the end of February. About 65 employers from the nonprofit sector will be talking to students at the free event. No registration is required, but to find out more, visit cabrini.edu/career services. 2 employees of Cabrini Ministries in Swaziland, Africa, left the continent for the first time in their lives, and we have an exclusive interview where they talk about their inspiring look at education and the extraordinary children they teach.
Cabrini College has welcomed 2 members of the St. Philip's Mission in Swaziland to campus for a few weeks in order to strengthen the college's partnership with Cabrini Ministries in Swaziland. This visit comes after a group of faculty members traveled to the country in Africa last summer. Swaziland is experiencing an AIDS pandemic that is leaving children orphaned. The Cabrini Ministries' work with the St. Philip's Mission is to provide shelter and education to the children. Sharon Singleton and Simo Mamba share their experiences working with the mission.
Swaziland has been hit hard with the AIDS epidemic. If, like the saying goes, if you are not infected with AIDS, you are affected, because somebody in your family will have died of AIDS or will have AIDS. So lots of children are losing both parents, and some children are actually losing even grandparents.
We can be very glad if we can get some students here and visit our Cabrini ministry, so that our children can see that how important it is to get yourself into books, like reading, how to make yourself comfortable in readings and all these things.
The education system is not a good one, first. Secondly, English is a second language in Swaziland for us. Our first language is Siswati. So even the teachers are comfortable in speaking Siswati and teaching in Siswati. So these children have about 7 subjects, only 1 is written in Siswati, and that is the language Siswati. The 6 are in English, because even math has to be read. You know, or even math, if it's not a number, it's a sentence in English. So there's 5 subjects that are written in English, but the teacher is teaching them in Siswati. And this child, and the test is set in English, and this child must write back in English, do the test in English. So that is a big problem, and the children are not making it. And you find a child moving up to grade 7, but cannot read. So we just have to work around there, and that's where the afternoon program comes in. What we do on this program, we teach literacy and numeracy, the basics. And our what we're focusing on strongly now is reading and reading and reading. And I mean, I don't think we can have enough reading because every subject has to be read and they cannot read. I think Cabrini will succeed in making a difference in the children's lives because we already see positive change over just the few years Cabrini has been operating, the 7 years since it's been operating as an organization. There's a lot of change. Like this year we have 2 that finished high school and we hope they go to university. And we've got quite a few kids moving on to high school and we think that's good.
Yes. What I can say, I would love to thank the people who have been supporting Cabrini ever since and to continue doing that to save the people.
For Location, I'm Danielle Alio.
And those are your top stories in this week's edition of The Loquitur. For more information on any of these stories, please visit theloquitur.com or pick up a copy of the paper around campus.
The 112th Congress has been sworn in by John Boehner as the new Speaker of the House as Nancy Pelosi relinquished control after losing the majority in the November elections. While the House changed majorities, Harry Reid and the Democrats stayed in control of the Senate. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is celebrated as a day of community service. Kiara Corbin was in downtown Philadelphia to see the celebration.
Many took their day off volunteering as a service to others for the 25th anniversary celebration of the Martin Luther King holiday, as a way to demonstrate Dr. King's vision for a change.
Today we're supporting the Linus Project. In the Linus Project, we take 2 flannels together and we tie it to make blankets. With the blankets, we give them to shelters that support women and children.
We're from St. Hubert High School.
Northeast Philly.
Northeast Philadelphia, all-girls high school, and we brought down...
We collected pajamas to bring down to the Salvation Army to do the Jammin' for Jammies. And they're putting together a pajama with a book and a stuffed animal, and they're going to go to local shelters, the pajamas for the little kids.
My name is Erin McGreer, and I'm at Girard College right now. We are making cards for senior citizens because some citizens can't get out every month to go get their groceries, so boxes are being packed for them and the cards go inside.
Chuck Ramsey, Police Commissioner, City of Philadelphia, and I'm here as part of the King Day of Service. Today, of course, we're refurbishing computers that will go to people who need to have them. It's something that's new and exciting for me. I'm not that well versed in computer technology, but I've learned a lot so far just by working with the young men and women here who do know a lot about computers that are helping with refurbishing these older machines. It's really going to make a difference in the lives of a lot of people who otherwise would not have access to this kind of technology. The so-called digital divide is a very real problem here in Philadelphia, and this is one step toward trying to bridge it.
I'm Kiara Corbin, back to you at the news desk.
The holiday season quickly flew by and we are a week into the new semester. Let's see what some of the Philadelphia Christmas traditions were.
I'm Danielle Alio for Location with a quick recap of the Christmas season in Philadelphia. Here are a few locations where Philadelphians may have been found enjoying the holiday season. Back for a 3rd year, Christmas Village in Philadelphia was a popular attraction with over 200,000 visitors. The village, located on the west side of City Hall, consisted of more than 80 wooden huts which sold European-themed items, foods, and drinks. Christmas Village was developed in the likeness of Christmas markets in Germany. Another popular Christmas attraction in the city is Macy's Christmas Light Show, located in the Wanamaker Building. This light show has been around since 1956 and is a holiday tradition to many families. Families also attend to hear the beautiful music coming from the Wanamaker organ. The show has seen some renovations over the years, but the spirit of the original show is still present. The show itself is about 10 minutes long and is now narrated by Julie Andrews. There are 34,500 LED lights on the Macy's Magic Christmas tree, which stands in front of the Wanamaker organ. There are about 65,000 other LED lights that make up the rest of the show. The various characters in the show are 2 bears, 4 frosties, 8 reindeer, 50 snowflakes, 2 toy soldiers, 3 clocks, 5 ballerinas, 1 nutcracker, 1 girl, 1 prince, 1 princess, 2 candy canes, Santa, and the conductor on the Santa Express train. A rare event that happened over the holidays was a total lunar eclipse that occurred on December 21st. This was the first total lunar eclipse in almost 3 years, as well as the first to occur on the day of the northern winter solstice since 1638. Located about 40 miles from Philadelphia, Peddler's Village was founded in 1962 on 6 acres of land by Earl Hart Jameson. The original village, built in the style of colonial America, had 14 shops and a restaurant that is still there today. Presently, the Bucks County site has grown to 42 acres with unique shops and restaurants. The gingerbread house display in the village contained many different gingerbread house models. The different houses constructed fell into a variety of categories. One could view any type of design, from a traditional gingerbread house to a house that was modeled off of a famous landmark. From all of us here at LOQation, we hope you had a safe and enjoyable holiday season and best wishes for a wonderful 2011. I'm Danielle Alio for LOQation.
And now let's take a trip around the world. The funeral for the youngest victim of the shooting in Tucson was the most heartbreaking of all the memorials held for the victims, according to authorities. Many people around the nation found the 9-year-old's death to be devastating since she was so young and should have had a long life ahead of her. Thousands of students are set to protest over new education spending cuts in the United Kingdom. The Education Maintenance Allowance was introduced to encourage kids to stay in school after the age of 16. The program costs £560 million a year. A destructive computer worm wiped out a fifth of Iran's nuclear centrifuges and helped delay Tehran's ability to make its first nuclear arms. The president of Iran said that authorities caught in enough time and it didn't cause very much destruction.
Hi everyone, I'm Liz, and today I'm here with Ann Philippone to talk about SEAL and SGA. Hi Ann, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're the director of SEAL, which is Student Engagement and Leadership, and SGA, as well as being on many other committees here at Cabrini. Tell us, how do you manage to balance all of these responsibilities and be a strong team leader for those who are part of these so-called clubs, I guess you would call them?
Well, as part of my role as the director of SEAL, I'm the advisor to student government. So I am lucky that I have a lot of students who really take on leadership roles, and they do a lot of the work on their own. So I'm just there sort of managing behind the scenes, making sure that they're staying on track and doing what they need to do and kind of keeping things on track for Cabrini and the way that we do things here. So it seems like I manage a lot of things, but really it's the students at Cabrini who help me manage things, and that allows me to do a lot more.
Oh, okay. Now, do you help the students come up with ideas, or are you the main person that thinks of it, or are all of the students involved coming up with new activities for the resident students to do?
Well, it's a lot of different people, really. I can't say that I take credit for it, but I will take credit for bingo nights because that was my idea like 4 or 5 years ago. But every once in a while, Amber and I will sit together and we'll brainstorm ideas and come up with something that's great, but most of the time it's students who are in the office telling us what's new, what they like to do, things that keep them occupied, and what's the latest craze that everyone's into, and then we can develop a program out of it. So a lot of times it's students who stop in the office and have an idea, or students who are in our office on Capboard or SGA, and they have ideas, and then we can kind of take that and run with it and develop something out of it.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Our budget on campus kind of allows us to do a lot of homegrown things, so we're always trying to do things in-house instead of going out and bringing companies in.
Oh, okay. Now, SGA leaders, Do they have to have a certain credential to apply to be an SGA, or is this kind of laid back and anybody can join?
Well, anybody can run for a position on SGA, and SGA is certainly open to any student. So if there's a student on campus who wants to come to a meeting, they're always open for students. But the students who hold a position on student government are elected into those positions. So we have our executive board, and those are students who have to have been on a class board for at least 1 year and participated in student government. And then in the class boards, they're elected in by their class specifically. We also have 3 chair positions. So we have an activities chair. They oversee the activities that SGA does, any fundraisers that the group is doing, or any special events that they have going on. We have an academic chair, so they oversee SGA's membership on all the different academic committees that exist on campus, and a service chair. So they're overseeing the service component for SGA as well as the student organizations on campus.
Oh, okay. Now, what events can students look forward to this semester? I know there were a lot last semester, but what should students be keeping their eye out for?
Well, there's always lots of good things going on. I like to think anyway. We post all of our events on our monthly calendars, and they're always available on our website too, so students can go on and see. We have a lot of different programs going on, but I think it's really up to the individual student what program appeals to them and what kinds of things they want to do. Some of the things that we have coming up are open mic nights. They're really popular with our students. We do get a great turnout for those. Of course, we have our bingo nights. I'll put a plug in for those. We have Epic coming up in April, and that was new last year. It's sort of a big week of programs, and those programs are secret, so I can't tell you what they are that CAP Board is planning. But I can tell you that the SGA Formal will be part of our Epic Week this year, so that will be coming up in April. Other than that, we have an illusionist coming in March. We have some of our standard programs that we typically have. CAP Board will be doing some kind of game show this semester. So lots of good things going on all the time.
Oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Hi, I am Melissa Webb on set with LOQation. A New Year's resolution is a commitment an individual makes to a personal goal, a project, or the reforming of a habit.
My New Year's resolution is to raise my GPA average and to get a car as well, so that way I'm not stuck here always on campus, but then I'm not always home either.
For this year, my New Year's resolution is pretty much just going to be I'm going to try to work on balancing time between work and play, kind of just try to balance out between getting my homework done on time and making sure everything's right, and then also trying to balance time with friends and family.
My New Year's resolution is to have a GPA above a 3.5.
Amber, what's your resolution?
My resolution this year is to make 2011 my heaven. It basically means there's so many people that keep saying each year, this year I'm going to lose weight, and this year I'm going to work out, and this year I'm going to talk to my family more, and then they don't succeed in that, and they get kind of down on themselves. So my way of making 2011 my heaven is to kind of increase any little piece of my life. So anything I can do that makes me a little bit happier, I can do that, and then if I fail at one, there's still millions of other things that I can do to make 2011 my heaven.
Thank you, Amber. That was great. I'm Melissa Webb, and here and still, back to you at the news desk.
Now let's check in with Holly for sports. What do you have for us this week, Holly?
Thanks, Pat. On Saturday, the Cabrini men's basketball team beat Philadelphia Biblical University 89-62 at the Palestra at the University of Pennsylvania. Senior Dom Farello netted a team-high 17 points in only 15 minutes of play. Adding to the Cavaliers' victory were sophomore Goran Dulak and freshman Fran Rafferty, both scoring 12 points each. The women's basketball team won its 4th game of the season on Monday, beating Cedar Crest College 75-41. In the victory, freshman Brittany Sandone led the Lady Cavs offense with 16 points, while junior Laura Karen chipped in with 8 points. This win for the Lady Cavs improved their season record to 4-9 overall. Both the men's and women's teams are scheduled to play a doubleheader at Immaculata University on Thursday, January 20th, with the first game starting at 6 p.m. And now here's Ali Rodolico with the Winter Sports Midseason Update.
Hey guys, I'm Ali Rodolico here at the Cabrini Gym at the Dixon Center, and we're going to be sitting down with Brian Beecham, Sports Information Director, to do a mid-season review on the winter sports season.
All right, so the men's basketball team, they've had a tremendous first half of the season. They've won 26 home conference games in a row. What type of things should we look forward to for the second half of the season?
Dom Farrell is off to a great start. He's averaging over 16 points a game, about 7.5 rebounds. As one of the seniors on the team, he's really been carrying a lot of load scoring for the offense. You also rely on Corey Lemons at the point guard position. He's also averaging double figures, as is John Boyd, a junior guard. So
now, on the other hand, we have the women's basketball team. They're struggling a little bit, but they are also a much younger team. They have mostly all freshmen starting the game. What type of things do you think that they should be doing to improve and to kind of turn around their season for the second half?
You said it, this team is very young this year. Kate's starting 3 freshmen. She's got about another 3 or 4 that come off the bench and play a lot of minutes. So this team is really kind of a model of what the team was like in 2005, 2006. The coach at that time brought in a ton of freshmen, and by the time they were done as juniors and seniors, they won a conference championship. So I think that's the goal for Kate.
Then we also have the swim team. How's their season been so far? What type of things should we expect for the second half of the season?
Well, this is a very exciting season for both swim programs. This is the first year they're an affiliate member of the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference. So there's something there at the end of the season for all swimmers to compete for, and that's the conference championship, which is at Grove City College in the middle of February. So one of the nice things being a member of a conference is at the end of every week, each of our swimmers has an opportunity to win a weekly award. Kyle Teleszewski has been named an AMCC Swimmer of the Year. Lauren Sleva has also been named to the honor roll for the AMCC. So.
Great. Well, we look forward to another good half of the season from all 3 teams. Thank you, Brian. I'm Ali Rodolico here at the Dixon Center. Back to you at the news desk.
That's all I have for you this week. Be sure to tune in next week for more sports coverage.
Thanks, Holly. Can't wait for that doubleheader on Saturday.
It's definitely going to be a good game. But now let's take a look at the red carpet rants with Danielle McLaughlin.
Hey guys, Danielle here with your entertainment news. Over the past few days, Cabrini College has experienced its fair share of snow and ice, causing class cancellations and delays. Let's see how the campus reacted to the wintry weather.
Hi, I'm Justin Selner at Cabrini College. Recently, we just experienced our first snowfall of the season. We went around and asked students what their favorite activity to do when the snow was, as well as what was the craziest activity they ever did. Let's take a look right now.
Personally, not a big fan of the winter, but when snow comes around, it's always a good time, especially around Cabrini College. It gets a little crazy around here for good times.
I think it's quite lovely when it's falling, but then when it gets dirty, it's kind of ugly.
What I like about snow, I like to go sledding, so I love snow to go sledding, and definitely snowball fights.
I actually don't like much about it. It messes up the roads, make it really cold, hard to go, but I guess there's one positive quality that occasionally we get off school for snow, like get a 2-hour delay. I had a class canceled, so I guess that's a good part.
Well, personally, I like to build igloos in the snow. Me and my buddies did that last year, and it was probably the greatest time I've ever had in the snow.
Made an igloo that I could stand up in.
Probably went out in the snow when it was really deep and drove around and probably got stuck.
I don't know, not too many crazy things. I don't know, I guess a lot of like snowball fights back in the day when I was like a little kid. Snowball fights, so typical stuff, sledding, stuff like that.
How do you guys feel about the snow?
It's cold. It's cold?
Looks like everyone at Cabrini College has different opinions about the snow. In other news, Selena Gomez has officially taken off her purity ring. Gomez, who is dating none other than Justin Bieber, has been seen without the ring. Gomez received the ring when she was 12 years old and has been wearing it ever since. Gomez's parents have noticed that she has been wearing the ring less often and hope that their daughter doesn't pursue something she will later regret. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week for more entertainment news. I'm Danielle McLaughlin. Back to you at the news desk.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Be sure to check us out at theloquitur.com and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. I'm Melissa Menzer.
And I'm Patrick Gallagher. That's all your news this week, Cabrini. We'll see you next time.